please introduce yourselves and tell us where you're at.
I'm Marc LaBelle, the singer of Dirty Honey.
I am Corey Coverstone, the drummer of Dirty Honey.
And we are in Los Angeles, California.
How's things in LA today?
Very
Little gray today.
Little gray?
Yeah, probably similar to how it is down there this time of year, I would imagine.
Yes, it's just getting to be, it's autumn here, believe it or not. But yeah, it's kind of the same thing, the equinox thing happening, I guess. So, yeah. Yes. So this is very exciting. You guys seem to be single-handedly reviving rock and roll as we know it with this new album.
We will take that as a compliment. Yeah, it's been going incredibly well since the album came out. So we're very grateful for that. Not
surprised, because I'm of a certain age where I remember, buying old Aerosmith and Humble Pie albums and stuff like that. And it was like, holy mackerel, that's the sound.
Yeah, I love that. 30 Days in the Hole. Did you hear the Black Crowes cover 30 Days in the Hole?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. So I have to ask you, what makes you, why did you decide? I mean, bands sound like all different things, but there's very little of this kind of classic rock and roll that's so derived from the blues and rock that you guys are doing. What brought you together to make that music?
I think it's a part of all of our growing up and early musical influences and stuff, and it just kind of came very, very natural to us.
Yeah, it stems from the passion for that type of music, for sure.
Yeah. All right. So the album was released April 23rd, I believe. In the environment that we're in these days with lockdowns and COVIDs and all sorts of stuff, what was the release day like?
It was kind of like every other day.
That's no good.
Yeah, it's other than the fact that obviously people are going bananas on social media, which is weird. I mean, the last time we put music out, we were on the road, and there was a tangible, real excitement that you could feel at a show, after releasing some music, and people were just starting to get familiar with you. And this time around, there was an overwhelming just positivity about the music, but it was all on social media, so we're super looking forward to getting back on the road, seeing some faces, shaking some hands, talking to people, all that good stuff. And it's just part of being a human that we're all missing right now. So
that's a fact. Yeah. So
not so much you guys down there though.
We're doing it. I go to gigs every week. It's fantastic.
Awesome.
It's all wide open crazy here at the moment.
That's awesome.
Fortunately, we have a good local scene. So, and they're starting blowing up the bubble. So it includes Australia as well. So we're going to get some imports there as well. So getting there. Cool. But if you come here now, you have to sit in, if you're not from Australia, you have to be in quarantine for 2 weeks. So kind of keeps the riffraff out.
Are most people down there vaccinated, or did you guys just not at all, right?
No, we have the vaccination. It arrived a little while ago, but they're kind of slow rolling it out. But we only had we locked down last year like everybody else did, and within a couple of months it was kind of all over. So
yeah,
we've had one case will pop up, and then boom, it's all locked down for a week, and then it's all cool again. So yeah. I mean, we just had a big gig with 50,000 people in the outdoor stadium here a couple of weeks ago. So
crazy.
That's awesome.
I know, it's pretty
jealous.
Amazing. So you guys got me missing that.
Yeah, I think they did it's funny, they did a big televised Vax Live concert, I'm sure you saw, and everybody was in a mask, and it was supposed to be like this promotional event to get people vaccinated. And I'm watching the footage. I'm like, that doesn't look like that much fun. It wasn't a great, I don't think it had the effect they were hoping for. I think more of going to a show like you're going to would definitely entice people.
Cool. So let's talk about the album. Where and when was it recorded? When did you write the songs? Was there any pressure? Because the EP did really well. So was there a lot of pressure on you to make this record?
There was, and then, obviously we had plans to, we actually recorded in Australia. The first EP we recorded in Australia, and we had plans to go back there, and obviously everything got shut down. And, you know, next thing I know, we had more time to just write a record, and it just became prevalent that we weren't going to Australia anytime soon. So we kind of got to work and did our thing and came out with some more songs. And the next thing you know, we have a way better record than we would have recorded in Australia. And
Right.
we did it at Henson Studios with Nick, our producer, who lives in Byron Bay, over Zoom, and the technology worked pretty flawlessly. So it was a completely different experience, but the pre-production was exactly the same because we were just sending emails back and forth to Australia. But
Right.
when you get into the studio, you're missing that interpersonal element a little bit. But
Yeah. Although I've been talking to some bands and they're kind of speculating that maybe because they're finding that it's amazing what you can do without going to the studio, that there could be a problem for studio owners at some point after all, as everybody's realizing they can just make great records from home.
Yeah. I mean, Billie Eilish is a shining example of that right now. I mean, she does everything from her bedroom, you know,
Right.
her brother.
That's kind of scary.
You know, it's the biggest artist on the planet right now. But, you know, for bands, though, I think there's always if you're going to do it right, it's got to be done live in a big studio, you know, at least a good sounding one, you know?
Yeah. So when you went in to write the songs for this record, did you have a concept in mind, a mentality, a vibe that you wanted to get across, or you just kind of sit down and rock?
It's a little bit of both. I think we have a sonic sound that we're always kind of going for, which is very alive, full of energy, full of nuance. We always say performance over perfection. And that's kind of that's the band's sort of motto, I guess. Just having it sound live is important to us. And, but yeah, lyrically, there wasn't, a line through the whole thing that I could point to. And sometimes lyrics were a little bit of a struggle during the pandemic because you're trying to find things to write about and you're not even like going and getting coffee at a cafe, you know, and so you're not, you know, what are you going to write about? You know, that was a struggle, but
you did it.
I did.
That's good. Well, like a song it leads with California Dreamin', and obviously you got beaches and there's the classic, there's cars but yeah, is anybody living that lifestyle at the moment?
People, it's somewhat normal here. You got to wear a mask pretty much inside everywhere.
Right.
But yeah, people are definitely going out to the beach, no mask. Anything outside, it's pretty much no mask. Restaurants and bars and stuff, they're opening, and we're having shows again pretty soon. So it's getting back to the new normal. I think we're doing a pretty good job getting people vaccinated and feeling safe. It'll be interesting to see what shows are like now, you know?
Right. Okay.
I think that's the big test of how you move forward with that.
Gotcha. Now I have a note here. Are you from upstate New York?
Yeah.
So am I.
Whereabouts?
Rochester.
Oh, you are? I'm from Schenectady.
Schenectady, great. I just love hearing words like Schenectady, having been in New Zealand for so long. It's like, yeah, man.
How long have you been down there for?
It's 94, long time.
Wow. And what brought you there?
It's time to move on, do something different. Got a job offer, so went for it.
That's awesome.
Cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Have you guys been down to this? Well, you've been to Australia, so.
So after I knew, obviously I'm a big motorcycle traveler. I love riding. And after we got done recording, I hopped over and flew into, where did I fly into? Not Queenstown. It's Queenstown, right?
Yep.
What's the other city, the big city on the South Island?
There's Queenstown, Dunedin.
No.
And then there's Wellington a little further up, and then there's Auckland. Those are the big ones. Christchurch.
Christchurch.
That's it. I should know that.
Christchurch. a motorcycle and toured the South Island, and then flew up to Auckland for a few days. And I mean, it's like some of the most stunning landscapes you're ever going to see anywhere down there. So yeah, I loved it. I fully intend on going back.
Well, like I said, you can come and play out here because all you got to do is sit in isolation for a couple of weeks, which is worst things can happen.
We have our fingers crossed that we might be doing that at the end of the year. So
yeah. So getting back to your music, it's obviously very riff based, and then so how do you work with your guitar player, John, as far as putting together the music, the riffs, and the lyrics? Do you guys sit down and do it together? Does he throw stuff at you and you throw stuff back? How does it work?
However a riff comes, Justin writes riffs, from time to time too, and I'll even throw some, but I think they have to work for John first. I remember him saying one time, he's like, I don't know what to do with my body when I showed him something, when I'm playing this, it doesn't fit his personality. And so I've kind of we've all kind of figured out okay, it's got to work for him. Very rarely does any song start with just a melody, like a vocal melody, even though that might change in the future very soon here. But yeah, I think we all kind of agree that a riff has to be good to build on it. And then it's sort of, we figure out a verse section, and then the toughest part usually is figuring out what to do in the chorus, how to make it amazing, how to make it pop, and you also, what you say in that moment when you hit the chorus has to resonate with people. So, sometimes you get lucky and it all just happens all at once. But
sure. Yeah.
Those are pretty rare.
Yeah. And of course, drums are the foundation for the whole thing. So Corey, when you first hear a riff or a snippet of a song, what goes through your head? What are you thinking about in terms of how am I going to make this happen?
Yeah. I was just answering a similar question, and it has to do with there's always, whenever I hear something, there's always kind of the easy way, I guess you could say. There's the thing that's oh yeah, that's definitely the obvious thing to play there that pretty much any drummer would probably do. And maybe in some cases that is the most appropriate thing, or even kind of the essence of what the vibe or the groove or the feel has to be. But I always really push myself to reach for something out of the box, something, I don't know, I try to stay away from the norm. Whatever is the most obvious thing to play, that's usually what I try last.
Right.
But I still definitely am mindful of trying to keep the thing grooving or feeling how it should, based on what maybe the most obvious solution is.
Yeah.
Just try to connect those dots between reaching for something more creative and outside of the box, but keeping it grounded and feeling energetically how it might.
Appropriate. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I suppose you have to think about how is it going to translate live as well when you're on stage playing it in front of people.
No, I don't think about that.
I think you do as a song, maybe not the drum performance.
That's a song for sure.
As a song, yeah, we all are really excited to play Gypsy live. Not so much him. I guess
I'm excited about it. It's just really, it's the most demanding song.
He was just saying, yeah, it's we want to start the show with that song, but it's really taxing on him. And he's like, I don't know if that's the best idea. I'd like to get a couple songs in before we go for that one. So there is that, there is some thought process behind that.
It's a good track. I haven't noted on my little sheet as being my favorite on the album. So.
Oh, thanks.
I roll in like a desert wind with a broken smile and a heart that's on the mend.
does rock. That's a fact. And I'm curious because you have this sound that is so deeply indebted to, you know, people like Jimmy Page and Eddie Van Halen and the Black Crowes you mentioned. Have you spent much time getting to meet any of these people and compare notes and sit at their feet and say, how do we do this?
I wish
he's more experienced in this department than the rest of us.
I wish I got to meet Jimmy Page and Eddie Van Halen, especially.
You get to meet Axl.
I got to meet Axl. We just talked about Netflix. But Chris Robinson from the Black Crowes has been very kind to us and very nice. And so is Slash. And they just, you know, they're just kind of like, keep doing what you're doing. It sounds fucking great. You know, we're happy people are playing that style of music, especially Slash, was just like, we were together when Slash said that to us. And he was just like, you guys are fucking awesome. Like, just keep going. And, you know, I'm a huge fan of what you're doing. So 2 thumbs up.
Same with Tremonti. Tremonti had nice things to
Miles
say.
Kennedy, of course, too.
Right.
It's been very sweet, but
Yeah.
none of them are like, this is what you should do. I think the trick in any art form is finding your own voice within the thing you're doing, whether it's photography, whether it's music, whether it's acting, like, or painting, especially, is a great example. Like, Van Gogh has a voice stylistically that is identifiable. How do you, how does this band become as identifiable as an AC/DC or a Van Halen just by hearing the first couple notes of a song? That's what you're striving for.
Gotcha. Well, I would say that one element that is in your music is there is a sense of the blues in there somewhere. And that's not necessarily throughout a lot of metal or whatever hard rock that you call it these days. So especially the last track, another last time, it has some organ in there and stuff. So are you thinking about in terms of kind of keeping it, you know, mixing it up a little bit and throwing that in there? Is that part of what you guys do?
Well, we're always trying to inject the blues into it. That's definitely a conscious. That's always a win for us. The blues, soul, blues and soul mixed with rock and roll is a great combo, and I think it's appropriate for all of our passions, you know.
Right. Who's
I was
playing the
counting
organ?
syllables into what he was just saying to see if that worked out to be a haiku or not.
Blues and soul equal rock and roll or whatever. Blues
Like
and soul.
Blues
mixed with
and
rock and roll.
soul equal rock. No, it doesn't work.
It was a good shot though.
5-7-5 pattern in the haiku, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Is it?
I think it's
You'd know better than me.
Okay. So the record's been out for like 3 weeks now. What's that been like for you guys? You've been getting interviewed by people, you've been getting write-ups. Is it kind of all that you were hoping it was going to be? Or are you going, come on, folks?
We're ready to play.
Yeah, that's the overwhelming thing is people are just like, I can't wait to see these songs live. And, in terms of everybody's response, it's all been great. I literally like haven't. The only like, I guess negative maybe is people are like, could have used a couple more songs, and we were like,
well, there is only 8. I did notice it, but as a reviewer and somebody who has to prep for these, I was like, oh, thank goodness. It won't take me forever to get ready.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you know, and we consciously decided to keep a couple songs off that weren't. We like them, but they just quite weren't as strong as the other stuff. And you know, do you want to water down your material with stuff that's not as awesome? I didn't personally, and I personally felt like on one of them specifically, there's room to make it great, and it just is going to take a little more time and working out, and it'll get there. I'm confident of that, but yeah, it just people have, for the most part, been like, it just leaves me wanting more, and that's a good thing so far. So
that is the way it should be, I think.
I agree.
Better to leave them wanting more than to go, oh my God, is there another?
Yes, exactly.
Fantastic. So, and are you thinking in terms of what you're going to do next and your direction and all that stuff, or are you just kind of chilling?
I think we have there's a Dropbox full of ideas, and I think once we get out onto the road and we can sound check and play them and play them in a venue, because it always sounds different in a venue when you're sound checking.
Sure.
Really feel, okay, is this gonna work a little, or this one might not work? Go back to the drawing board, and that's a big part of writing, you know. And if we get a full idea that we really like, if we like a song, we'll fucking play it live. We don't care, of course.
Right.
You know, fans love that. We love doing it. It's all good. So
Cool. Well, hopefully you can come down here sometime, especially since you've already been spending time in Australia and almost recorded it here. So it's half the battle right there.
We have our fingers crossed. I think there's something we're hoping for at the end of this year. So
that'll be cool. Because yeah, these you're right. These songs need to be heard live in a room with big loud amps and people sweating all over you.
We're looking forward to it. So yeah, exactly.
Sounds
dirty
good.
And sweaty. That's how we like it.
All righty. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much for talking to me. I appreciate it.
Oh man. It's a
Good luck with
pleasure.
everything.
I love your place too. You got a good record collection, it looks like. And
It's a work in progress.
yeah.
I see. You made me I even dug up my old Humble Pie albums for you.
Nice.
I couldn't believe how many I had.
Dang, man, you probably got a good collection. Wow.
We'll eat it.
Damn.
Nice.
Rock on.
Marriott killing it.
Yeah, he was.
It's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get down there, man. It's definitely a place on our, it's not even a bucket list. It's a place I'd like to go way more often. It's a long flight, obviously, but not too bad.
Excellent. All righty. We'll look forward to it. Thank you
Good
very
talking
much.
to you.
You too.
Pleasure.
Bye.